Okay. Um, this just came to me and I wanted to say it. If you have a history of friendships, jobs, boyfriends, girlfriends, what have you, um, and it all seems kind of short lived, like a little bit here, a little bit there, nothing really stable in that way, but you're the type that always lands on your feet no matter what falls through afterwards. Um, the reason that things don't last like that, especially with people, like your connections with people and relationships of any kind, but especially boyfriends and girlfriends, especially if it's a bit tumultuous or if those dynamics are real difficult with those people, um, the dating and such, that the reason they don't stick around and the reason that stuff doesn't last and it always comes to an end is because, bear with me, I want you to change your mindset. So if you come to me with an open mind, this will be a little bit easier. But this is one way to look at it to help you reason with it and get past it. This is how I do it. This is how I keep from going crazy. Okay. Before you got here, before I got here, before the boyfriend and the girlfriend got here, and the managers of the jobs that didn't go right, and the friends that didn't stick around, and the parents and the relatives and whatever, all of us, before we came down here, signed a contract promising to go ahead and endure the things that were going to be set before us. So after you've come down here and you're born and you're living and you're doing things and you're meeting people and you're working and you're everything else, that is all part of something you agreed to. It's all already, I mean, from my point of view, it's already written because the Norns deem it so, but we'll get into that later. But you signed a contract before you came down here promising to go along with this shit, basically. Because there was something that you didn't learn the last time around, so you're going to come back again and do it all over again. And you're going to keep doing it until you learn these lessons. You have to. You have to learn one lesson before you move on to the next thing, no matter how difficult it is. So when a relationship or a friendship or a connection with a relative or something, when somebody leaves your life, no matter how much you thought it was going to last, no matter how important you thought it was, when that person leaves your life, if you break up or you divorce or you stop talking or they die or whatever, that person is gone now, okay? Your contract, your soul contract, and your agreement that you made with that person before y'all came down here has come to an end. It's over with. So everything that you could have learned, let's take all my old boyfriends, for example. Each one, I learned something from each one, and hopefully he learned something from me. But those boyfriends, they don't stick around or I don't stick around. Usually I don't stick around. Usually I don't stay. I get up and go. But the reason that comes to an end is because my time with him, it has finished. Everything that I could have learned from him, I've learned, and it's over. It's done. And everything that he could have learned from me, he has learned, and it's finished. So the contract is over. The agreement has finished. It's done. It's terminated. So then, no matter how bad the breakup is, y'all argue, you fight, you throw stuff, you yell, you go to court, whatever it is you got to do, it's still going to come to an end because it has to. Because y'all already made this agreement before you came down to this planet. It was already done. You already signed on the dotted line. It's over with. So when somebody leaves your life, if you break up or you divorce or they stop talking to you or they die or whatever happened, that person leaves your life. They're gone now. The only thing you can do now, really, from my point of view, the only thing you can do now is remember the good things that you learned, the good things that you did, the good memories. If it's somebody that you respect, you can always honor their memory. Tell people about how wonderful they were. I do that with my father, obviously, you know. And as much as I miss Dad, our contract on this planet was over with when he died. So, and I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't deal with that. Sometimes I still can't deal with it. It's been 10 years, and sometimes I still can't deal with it. But I have to understand that our time together, our agreement was finished. It was completed. He did everything that he was supposed to do for me, and I learned everything that I was supposed to learn from him. So now that he's gone, it's my responsibility to continue and use that knowledge in my life. So, or what about my last boyfriend? Last year, I think last summer, we broke up, maybe July or August or something. I want to say August. We had big plans. We really did. And I thought all that was gonna work out. And I'm still not sure why we broke up. I'm still not entirely sure. I couldn't tell you. The best thing I can tell you is that we had a huge miscommunication, and he was hurt that because he thought that I was trying to get away from him, and I wasn't. I was not, and he was pushing for more communication and more. He was pushing to sort it out right then, and I wasn't ready to do that because I just wasn't ready at that time. I needed a little bit of space to just breathe and do some other things, and the whole thing just like fell apart. I couldn't tell you what happened. I just know it fell apart. And for a while, yeah, it bothered me. And then after some time, I was busy with other things because I had so much else going on at the time. I had a new job. I was, in school. I was starting my jewelry business again. I was doing a lot, and I got busy anyway, and I thought, well, I got to move on to other stuff, so I did. And I accepted it. And now that I look back on that situation and all the others that were similar to it, I have to remind myself that it's okay that it came to an end because, like I say, he and I signed a contract before we got here. We agreed that we were going to do so many things together, learn so many things together, exchange so many ideas together, and then we would split eventually. But what happens is you get here, and because of how messed up this world is, you lose touch with your soul, and you lose touch with your real essence. So you forget about all that stuff. So when something goes wrong and it comes to an end, tumultuous or otherwise, your ego says, "Oh shit, this can't happen. This isn't good. This isn't good. This isn't what I wanted." And it's about what you want. Oh, I didn't want this. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I thought would happen. I don't want this. It's not what I want. It's not about what you want. Me and him splitting, that wasn't what I wanted. But it's not about what I want. It's about what's meant to be, and I can't argue with that because we haven't talked since then. It's meant for us to split. It was meant for Dad to die. At that time, it was meant for those people to leave your life. And it's just one of those things. You just have to accept that everything that y'all were supposed to do together, and your interactions and everything between you, everything that happened between you, all the energy exchanges between you, all that, it stops at a certain point with everybody. Obviously, we all die, so it's going to stop eventually with everybody. But it's just, it happens. Sometimes when you have a job, you'll have one or two jobs where you have shitty management, and then you'll have another job where the manager is fantastic. And you learn a lot from that manager, and they're great with leadership, and they're great with people, and they're great with priorities and everything. They're just like, they're everything you've ever wanted in a boss. And then something happens and you lose that job, or you have to move away all of a sudden and you have to leave that job, or something else comes up that you need and you got to do that instead. Something will happen and you'll break with that job and that manager that you like so much. And then you go to the next job, or you go to the next thing, and it's shitty again. It sucks that you had to break ties for one reason or another with the good manager. But the idea is that you take all those lessons that you learned from that person into your new situation, and you can apply it there. And then you can be the leader for somebody else. You can set the example. You can show somebody what it is to be a good leader, to make sure everybody's included, to make sure everybody's heard, you know, to make sure the right people are taken care of and, you know, looked after, and to make sure the priorities are right and everything else, you know. So that, everything, all the good things that you saw in that person that you wish you could have in somebody else, in a way, can get transferred to you, because you got to turn around and show the world, you know, what you learned, and be, you know, the guiding light for somebody else. So it passes along like that. That's another thing. But I'm going to try to keep this short, because, like, I don't want to run my mouth all night long, and I got shit to do. I just wanted to say that, you know, you're the people that you're around, you know, the longer they stick around, it's the more y'all have to do, and, you know, the longer the contract is, and the more you have to learn from each other and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. You know, that's one way that helps me. That's one thing I can do that helps me make peace with something coming to an end. You know, a friendship, or, you know, whatever. If it ends, it ends. You know, whether I want it to or not is beside the point, because that's ego talking. That's so, I want this, I want that. You know, oh, I don't want that, I don't want that. That's just ego. That's not even the real you. That's just some bullshit part of your mind that's, like, taking control. Because, like I say, we're so disconnected with ourselves in this world that, you know, this other bullshit, like, comes to the surface and, like, takes the wheel and starts making, you know, decisions and shit for us. It's not, you know, that's not the real us. So the point is, you know, to learn how to control that a bit. And one way to do it is to remember that you the real you, the soul, you are divine. And, you know, you do come from the stars. And the things that go wrong here, and things that go right, but especially the things that go wrong, is just shit that you're supposed to learn. Just don't, you know, let it derail you. Don't tear yourself up over it. It went wrong. It fell apart. You know, look at it from a third-person point of view if you have to. Or run that story by some people you don't know, who don't have any, you know, preconceived notions about you or whatever, and get their viewpoint. You know, take a lesson from it and move on. You know, don't get hung up on somebody that left your life for whatever reason. You know, because y'all did everything you were going to be able to do anyway. Plans or no plans. I've made some big plans with a lot of people, a lot of, you know, big future plans. And the shit fell apart one way or another, and it never came to fruition. Just means it wasn't meant to be. So don't tear yourself up over that. You know, you just got to keep moving, keep ascending, keep progressing, keep learning about yourself, keep clearing out old energies, keep doing shadow work, keep looking at yourself and looking at what you want to change. And the same shit's going to happen over and over again until you learn from it. And then you can move on permanently, and it probably won't happen again. But the repetitive shit is just lessons. But anyway, that's all I wanted to go over with you tonight. Yeah, I think that's it. So, I hope that was helpful. Don't stress it, okay? Whatever's going on right now, everything's going to be fine. Everything's already, you know, for the most part, kind of planned out for you. You're going to be alright. Just keep trucking. Just have to keep pushing, because everything's a lesson. That's all it is just take it as a lesson and just keep going, that's all. I'm probably going to upload some more videos tomorrow, so stay tuned. But, I gotta get out of here and go do some stuff, so have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.